here's something that good from Zero Hedge. Good little piece of news here. It's not just Europe. As many as 16 California counties may seek secession from the state. They've had enough. Which is interesting because I just saw a chart yesterday I was looking at that showed, it was real interesting. It showed little dots on different countries across the world, including our own. And it started like back in the chart, in other words, started I think in 2005. To give you an idea of how it's progressed, basically. And in 2005, there's just maybe 3 dots on America. And what these dots represent is any type of protest or something like that, right? American citizens protesting about something. And then it shows a couple years later, and there's some more dots. 2010, there's a lot more dots. 2011, 2012, a whole bunch more dots, if you will. And of course, Europe, since like 2008, had dots all over the place. And the latest chart, which I thought was maybe in 2013, all over the damn world, there's just dots everywhere. So if you had these charts in front of you at some other time period, let's say 1,000 years from now, and you were looking at this ancient data, and first one gets put on your lap is 2005, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011, you would quickly say to yourself, oh, well, I know where this is going. What do these dots represent? Civil unrest, gatherings, protests? Yes. Oh, well, I know where this is going. The whole world's going to be going into civil war soon. Countries are going to be overthrown. The power structure is going to be overthrown. And then sure enough, probably years later, oh, I was right. That's exactly what happened. Because they're going to know history repeats anyways. So I saw that chart. It was very interesting because it did not, at any point in those years, show a little bit less. Oh, hey, we cut that down by a quarter. There's a quarter less lights on America, so to speak, little dots on America. No, there's about a quarter more, and a whole bunch more, and a whole bunch more after that, year after year. In other words, it is not slowing down, it is actually gaining steam. Now you know why the Department of Homeland Security bought 1 billion rounds of ammunition. The VA bought ammunition, I think. What else was it? The post office, I think, one of those groups. And then the Social Security admin, etc. I mean, they're loading up. Are they loading up because we're going to get in? They're expecting a war with another country? Are these the groups we want to defend us? No, I don't think so. What has the Department of Homeland Security been doing since its existence? Nothing. You see them out patrolling the streets or catching bad guys or internationally going? No. It's a private army. I call it private because it's going to be used privately by these individuals who run our country. But it is, you could basically say it's going to be a private military for use later on that will strictly be dealing with you. And why? Because those charts I just talked about says so. Not as if you even need those charts to figure that out. So it's saying as many as 16 California counties may seek secession from the state. Frustrated with their representation in government, residents of 2 California northern counties are heading to the polls to decide whether they should consider seceding from the state. As Reuters reports, campaigns in both Del Norte and Tehama counties are underway to convince residents that permanently separating from California is in their best interests. As many as 16 counties in Northern California could potentially join the movement, AP reports. Though official secession would require approval by the state legislature as well as the U.S. Congress. If they all decide to seek separation, the counties would make up a quarter, all 16, a quarter of California's territory. Quote, we have the water, forests, timber, we have the minerals. We have unspoiled agricultural land. We would be the wealthy state if we were allowed to go back and use our natural resources ourselves. Residents in 2 of California Norris County are heading to the polls, whatever. According to Reuters, campaigns in both, yeah, we got that. By supporting this measure, supporters would be pushing local officials to continue efforts to combine parts of Northern California with parts of Southern Oregon into the state's 51st state. The new state would be called Jefferson. A state called Jefferson. You don't suppose they're talking about old Thomas Jefferson, do you? Oh, let me continue reading. As a tribute to founding father Thomas Jefferson, who once believed that parts of the western United States could form a freestanding republic. If the measures are approved, local lawmakers would join other counties, etc. So let's stop for a second. Do you think... Let me give you a little example here. Because there's not a chance in hell the Congress nor the state of California is going to say, you know what, go ahead. You guys can separate. No. No, separation usually occurs, according to history, 1,000 million times in history. Pretty much says the people force it. Overthrow the local or state or whatever government and just say we're forming this. We're not asking you. We are telling you. What happened in Ukraine? They had a state in the country of Ukraine say although we're joining Russia as a separate state. We're not joining Russia as the country and becoming some kind of weird piece of it. We are a state. Just like the state of Florida, we are a state in Russia now. Now, you're not going to hear some, county or country, state in our country say, oh, we're now a state of, some other country, Canada. What we want, because the people are recognizing here now, finally, we don't want to join another system like our own. No, that's the problem. We want our own new system that we're going to be in charge of. So let me give you the example I was going to give you. You're a business and you have a lot of customers that pay you for this service. The service kind of sucks. Nonetheless, they pay you for the service. They start realizing the service sucks. The service keeps rising in price. I have other important things in my life as a human being I need to pay for, and I'm having a hard time paying for those things because of your service being expensive as it is, and being as sorry as it's not even providing what I'm paying for, and completely abusing the money I'm giving you for the service anyways. Sometimes even using the service against me. I'm going to write you a letter. We no longer want your service, so we're not going to be paying the monthly fee anymore. We are out of this effective immediately. But there's a problem. In order for that piece of paper you just signed and gave them to be valid, and for you to be off the hook and not pay for that service anymore, as a customer to a company, the company must agree to those terms. So if the company agrees to those terms, the company shoots itself in the foot via loss of revenue. Therefore, not a chance in hell they'll ever let anybody go. Ever. So do you think for 1 second 2 or 10 or 15 or 16 counties in any one of the states in the United States of America are going to get the approval from the state who needs that revenue desperately right now more than ever before? They need it now more than ever before. They're going to let these counties go? Yeah, start your own thing. We'll just take a shot to the face, so to speak, financially. Not a shot to the foot, a shot to the face. 16 counties, a quarter of their revenue, gone. But I can say this, on a positive note. At least these people are trying to do something. Other people are going to hear this and realize, man, something must be really wrong for them to want to do this. So, since something must be really wrong, I wonder what it is that they're so upset about. And right around that time, they're probably not even going to have to ask that question. They're going to already see, because my county, my state, my government is screwing me over in the same ways that these people are being screwed over, without even me knowing or asking those people, how are you being screwed over? Because it's everywhere. There's corruption everywhere. There's massive, unprecedented misuse, misallocation of the public funds in every part of the government. And I'm talking federal, state, and yes, even local. There is always abuse of the purse string, or not string, but the public purse, if you will. Do you remember not that long ago, I think it was the IRS, the amount of money was like $25 million that was being misused by employees themselves of the IRS. Not like the big wigs, only a small group of IRS people, you know, giving out money to some kind of contracts, you know, like something that should have cost $1 million and they paid $10 million to get the service because one of their buddies got the job, you know. No. I'm not talking about the normal. Not that, no. This is abnormal. And they were taking, you know, like, oh, I got a company card, all these different groups within the IRS, you know, kind of like many companies, many departments, they've got credit cards. But they're only supposed to use those credit cards for work purposes. And they found out that they were using them for gym memberships and giving, as well as paying for family and friends gym memberships, amongst other things. That, you know, that's one of the misuses. There was a bunch of misuses of that. Matter of fact, I did the video, I think, on that. You know, I'm gonna say a month and a half or so ago. So it's everywhere. It's rampant. And when I realized, just, you know, 2012, I apparently made a mistake on my tax return and I missed some additional funds. I think I mentioned this the other day, that I made, you know, money I made. So I had all the write-offs proper, you know, on there, but for somehow, I don't know, and I don't do, you know, I wouldn't do this on purpose because I don't want to be screwing around with the IRS myself either, but I missed some source of income, and I had to report, you know, they sent me a letter saying, hey, our records show you owe an additional $1,700 back to us. You know, if you think this is correct, check this box. If not, send the supporting paperwork and documents saying why you don't own it. Well, I looked and I'm like, well, shoot, I do own it, or owe it, so I have to pay it. And here's the thing, you know, I didn't take it out, therefore, technically speaking, right, I owe it. So you can't, in other words, what I'm trying to say is I can't really complain about that. Except I can, when I find out that $25 million from that same organization that's asking me to pay it $1,700 that allegedly I owe, is out there giving my money and your money away via prizes and maybe cruises and gym memberships for family and you name it. Every little thing you can think of that is absolutely in no way, shape, or form you could ever try to argue and say, yeah, that was a company, I was doing that for the company, you know, so I had to get that for the company. Oh, you had to get a gym membership for your neighbor and your sister? Yeah, that was work-related, you know, cost. No. So that's when I do have a problem with it. Why would I dare give even a penny to someone who is misusing it for the reasons that is never ever intended on? The IRS, right, is supposed to collect money to help run the government and pay the government's bills and whatnot. Is paying a private person membership to the gym running the government? No. So what repercussions are going to take place? How many of these guys, for $25 million to go up and smoke on there's got to be quite a number, in the thousands, of people misusing these cards. Thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, $25 million. I mean, think about that. That's, if you had 10,000 people abusing, you know, the money's coming in. And I don't have the math, and you know, I can't do this math in my head right now, but if you gave 10,000 people some money, how much money would they have to get up to $25 million? I mean, shoot, let's see, 10,000 people times 100 should be $1 million, right? 10,000 times 100, I think, is $1 million. So, you know, what are these people paying? You know, $2,000 a piece or something, whatever it is. That don't even seem right. $2,000, maybe it's $20,000 a piece. So, anyways, you get the point. So the fact that everyone's is hearing this, seeing these kind of things, people are starting to realize what, you know, remember the old saying, taxation without representation? If that's not it, I don't know what is. And when I keep hearing, oh, we gotta have Obamacare because we need an additional tax because we know so many people won't be able to afford the insurance when it fully kicks in, as well as the rate increases that will start taking place after it kicks in, they're gonna opt to not have insurance, which means they're gonna have to pay the old Obamacare fee of just not having insurance fee, which they said, we promised there's not gonna be any taxes, no taxes. Remember that? The whole campaign promise of Obama, no one, no middle class, whatever, will ever see a tax increase at all. No way, no how. Supreme Court, what is that fee that if you don't get Obamacare you have to pay? That's a tax. It's gonna be interesting to see how that gets handled, because when, via the Constitution, it clearly states any revenue generating legislation must be started and created, etc., in the House, passed in the House first, and then goes to the Senate. The final bill that passed for Obamacare, with all the changes they made, right, originated in the Senate first, then went to the House. Remember that? It was backwards. Therefore, it is null and void. But no one's had to pay the fee yet because they keep extending it. Oh, we're going to extend it. We're going to extend it. Wait a minute. The law says it's due by this date, and that's it. There's no law within your law that says if we're late, we can be late, and we'll just, any of us can just decide we'll extend one piece or another without anything, just on our own. Yet, that's exactly what they're doing. So you have an unlawful branch, or branches of government, again, doing things unlawfully, telling you, give me your tax money, we're using this for good purposes, and then you find out that no, they're not. All these billions and billions of dollars every year that we pay these countries as fees to basically let us have our military might near you guys. We need a base over on your territory. We need this over there. We're going to give you $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, $5 billion, whatever it is, a year. And there are hundreds of countries that we're doing this to. And maybe not $1 billion or multiple billions per year per country, but certainly hundreds of millions. And when you add that up times, 100 countries or what have you, man, that's a lot of money we're having to come up with every year just to flex our muscles over in the other parts of the area of the world. So again, as a citizen, can I say, kind of like the example of the secession that these counties want to do in California, where they say, hey, here's the signed paperwork, we want to secede from California. Hey state, do we have your approval? The state's gonna say, yeah, dream about it. No, you don't. Have a nice day. Just like if I said, IRS, I see here, you guys just spent $25 million of mine and my other fellow citizens' taxpayer hard-earned money, and during a time, especially when we're all struggling, we need that money to be used properly. You didn't use it. So because you didn't use it properly, and because multiple other examples in this piece of paperwork I'm sending you that outlines all of them have also misused the money that is coming directly out of my taxpayer funds, called income tax, I'm no longer going to pay that fee because I'm not getting the service that the fee was supposed to be for. In other words, you're not doing what you're supposed to do with the money. So I'm not going to pay you. There is nothing you can do. The IRS will laugh its rear end off. Who does this peasant think he's talking to? Watch this. Next thing, your house confiscated. Lien on your house. Car lien. This, that, everything you own, lien, confiscated, IRS sale. You ever see those commercials on TV? Haven't seen one in a long time. IRS tax sale, tax sale from drug money, drug confiscated type of things. And you'll say, oh yeah, this Lamborghini guy got behind his taxes, and the proceeds today from this Lamborghini are gonna go back to the IRS, and maybe someone will get a good deal on this car today. You cannot say no to this. So if you are told you're paying for a service by force, by the way, you are forcefully, because you can't say no, paying for the service, and then the service you're getting, you're not getting any of the, it gets to a point where the service doesn't even exist. The trash collection service, so to speak, that you're paying this for, in this example. They just don't even come to your house anymore, and week after week you got massive garbage piling up. You look at your neighbor, massive garbage. Across the street, massive. The whole neighborhood is stinking and rotting, and rats and whatnot are running rampant. It's out of control. Logic would tell you, fire that company. I'm no longer paying those fees. Matter of fact, I should have quit paying a long time ago, and let's hire a new one. There's a problem. There's no new one you can hire. You're stuck with this one getting the service or disservice that you're getting. So, naturally, as a human being, what does one do? Open the old history book up. They revolt. People revolt. If you don't have a means to say no, don't stop taking my money for these causes because you're corrupt. This is a mafia system. When the mafia breaks in your door and comes in the pizza shop and says, listen, we're offering you protection. We need $500 a week out of you. And you say, I've never had a problem here in my life. I don't need that extra police force that I have to pay for. I don't want it. They whoop your butt, put a gun in your face and tell you, we're not asking you if you want our service. You're getting our service. You will be paying the $500. The only difference, as crazy as this sounds in this screwed up world, in this screwed up country, the only difference is the mafia will protect you against anybody for that $500 a week, whereas the government won't do anything from you but extort the $500 from you and say, have a nice day. That is messed up.